Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Josh Blaylock, and this is the Skype for Business recap. For those of you that do not know what the Skype for Business recap is, let me enlighten you. It is supposed to be a 15-minute show. I try to stick within that, but I can't say that I'm always successful. But where I go through the events and postings of the prior week from places like Twitter and LinkedIn, etc., and try to share what's new, what's newsworthy, what's being talked about, what's important within the Skype for Business community, and a little bit of Office 365 stuff too, but mostly as related to Skype for Business and hybrid. And that's really the premise. That's just me getting on here and trying to share what I've seen and make sure we're all kind of on the same page when it comes to what's new and what's happening in the community. A way for us all to kind of stay plugged, if you will. So that's it. That's the premise of the show. Also, some people enjoy sitting down and just kind of laughing at me. So there's that as well. If that's what you find to be most beneficial to you, by all means, have a seat and laugh away. But other than that, I try to get on here and keep things on some sort of real level. But at any rate, I'm going to try to jump straight into talking about the things that I wanted to talk about today here, rather than having too much fluff ahead of time here. One of the first things was that Microsoft Ignite stuff was out and about this week. It's not coming up anytime soon. That is still scheduled to be late September, I think, in Atlanta. And registration is ongoing now. I'm not sure if it's open registration or if this is just early registration for people that got those special emails that maybe they've been before, or they know someone awesome at Microsoft, or I don't know. But those emails have been sent out and people are beginning to register. If you're not sure if you're able to yet and you just need more information on that, I'm not a definitive guide to Microsoft Ignite myself, but go to Twitter and the @ms_Ignite page, and you will get all kinds of information from them there. Can interact directly with them there. Great place to figure out what's what in that realm. So, Microsoft Ignite, if you're planning on it, start looking now. When these things happen, hotels fill up, accommodations become slim, and it can get booked fast. So, at any rate, moving on past that. Let's talk a little bit about a product that I've seen on and off here for the last few months in different areas called SkypeShield. And this appears to be, a very strong security contender in the Skype for Business add-on realm. It has a whole number of solutions that is offered via SkypeShield, but the one that showed up this week and was being thrown out there as a new offering was their Data Leakage Prevention, or DLP solution. This page I'm reading off of is dated February 4th on their website here, and so I'll share the links as usual. What this does is really make sure that people that may be fast and loose with your company or client's data through IMs are not letting that data get out there. This is a way to kind of control that a little better and decide how that is dealt with. As we go down the page, what they say directly on the bottom of the page here, the DLP module modifies messages according to an incident response from the DLP provider. And that whole verbiage right there sounds like DLP provider is something you're going to configure and set thresholds on and put content filter definitions in, etc. This includes blocking the content, masking sensitive sections, sending an instant message. I'm increasing fingers here. Okay. Sending an instant message warning notification to the sender, or just monitoring and alerting. Now that last one, monitoring and alerting, that is actually a pretty slick deal in my opinion, because sometimes we want to be aware of what's happening, but we don't want to really touch it too much. We might want to let the traffic go, but we may want to be aware that someone is starting to get a little bit bold with what they're sending out, and we may want to kind of approach them quietly on the side and say, look, you're kind of walking on the fence here of a gray area, and you really just might need to tone down the kind of things you're putting out there to federated contacts or whoever. So those are the four methods that you can deal with data leakage when it comes to SkypeShield. So very cool. Very cool. The other solutions that they offer per their site here, we've got Federation Ethical Wall, which is what caught my eye originally for this product. And that's the ability to really get granular with controlling who can talk to who in a Federation scenario. Instead of saying, hey, Federation is opening to jimbob.com, if that's your website by any chance, I just pulled something randomly out of the sky, but if that's yours, I didn't mean to use it as an example, so pardon the example. Anyway, if you're federated with jimbob.com and you maybe don't want your entire company to be able to talk to users at jimbob.com, you can set up the ethical wall to say, oh, hey, only Group A can talk to jimbob.com, not Groups B, C, and D. Or maybe you want to say that everyone except Group C can talk to jimbob.com. That's kind of where an ethical wall comes in. Very handy, very cool. I know people have used similar solutions in the past to even restrict which users internally can talk to which users. So if you need that level of lockdown within your own company, you might be able to tweak this offering for that as well. I'm not sure. It's something you would need to talk to them about. They've also got reverse proxy, application firewall, forefront integration, RSA token authentication, smart card login, two-factor authentication. These are some pretty cool buzzwords I'm throwing out there, and these are directly off of the modules they offer. So check them out. I can't say, from experience what the product is like. I've never deployed this or seen it in action, so I can't honestly weigh in. But they have a very good presentation on their website. Looks like very thorough on documentation and like they know what they're talking about here. So it's definitely worth investigating if you are courting vendors for any of those needs or beyond, because I did not read the full list. So check them out. Next thing, we are going to talk a little bit about Mr. Matt Landis, who is an Office Services and Servers MVP. Not specifically about Matt, but something he's doing lately out there, something he's working on for us. If you don't know the name Matt Landis and you have worked on Link servers or Skype for Business servers, I assume you're very, very smart and never need to get anybody else's input or never need to troubleshoot anything. Or that you live under a rock. Those are the two scenarios that I could think of that you would not know who Matt is if you've been working in this area for any amount of time. And I say that because anytime you go to Google to try to get help for troubleshooting or fixing something or setting something up within Link Server 2013, Link Server 2010, Skype for Business, probably back to OCS, I just wouldn't know that personally. Matt has been doing this for a while and had been very involved in the community, very involved in his own blog, very involved with his company and the Attendant Pro product they put out there. He's someone that most people recognize if they'd ever tried to get troubleshooting done. Now that I've very much inflated how awesome Matt is there and described all that he's done, I want to talk a little bit about what he's doing right now. He has gone on a couple different shows this week. The UC Architects podcast. I don't know if that was this week or last. And I think that's still waiting to be released, actually, for us all to consume via hearing. But he was a guest on there where he was talking about his SEFAUtil Server Community Edition that he is getting ready to release. It was codenamed SEFAUtil Done Right, SDR. He also went on the second episode of the Skype show, the Skype show live, and that's with Mark Vale and Corey Goodchild. They put together, they run that show together, and so if you didn't get a chance to watch that the other day, that will be available for playback very soon. Mark's working on something cool there to make sure we can all watch that in a cool format. So. But Matt went on and talked about his product there as well. Kind of gave us the inside scoop. I, unfortunately, was busy at that moment and not able to watch that portion of the show, so I have to wait for the playback. I got to catch other parts of the show. I got to hear the really super cool shout-out that I got at the end of the show. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. and very good job on the second show. Actually, you've done well there. I'm very excited to see it evolving and excited to see viewership pick up. Those are good numbers. So, very nice. At any rate, this tool is very cool. People have been kind of chattering about it on Twitter and waiting for it for a while. He has a gallery page put up for it, and then it's titled SEFAUtil Server Community Edition for Skype for Business Server. And this is supposed to be coming soon, Q1 2016 timeframe. In his list of benefits here, he says that the server piece can run as a service, so performance is exponentially faster than the SEFAUtil.exe. You can administrate using PowerShell, and the ability to run commands using an instant message bot for single user changes. Now, to expand on that a bit, reading his blog post and watching a brief YouTube video he did demonstrating this, if you're in a user-colleague scenario where you're just changing one user's information, you can use a bot, an IM window where you're actually chatting with the bot and execute these commands into it. They go in the, this way for you guys, yeah, / let me go over to the website, or his blog, / change forwarding or / change presence. And then you specify the presence and the SIP address, change note. There's these cool things you can execute in this bot window, and watching in real time in the context list, you'll see these changes happen on these users. Pretty slick, pretty cool. On the PowerShell side of things, that's more as an admin level. You're making wider changes than just a single person, mass changes. So cool looking product. I'm very excited to see it come out soon and start playing with it. And it's been very waited for. Thanks for all the work you've done on that, Matt. We're really looking forward to that hitting availability for download on the gallery. So that is what's going on there. The other person I wanted to mention who was kind of on the circuit talking about things this week was Mr. Tom Arbuthnot, who is also an Office Servers and Services MVP. He's with Modality Systems, and he's based out of the UK, I believe, primarily. And he was on Run As Radio this week talking about Cloud PBX, and it was a lively, good conversation about Cloud PBX, a little bit about the technicalities in the product, and a little bit about kind of the overall state of things in that arena as far as offering such a product in the first place. Good conversation. I had not heard of or seen or listened to a Run As Radio before. Very cool site, very, very good format, very to the point, about 30-minute shows from what I'm seeing, but good stuff, very well done. So you should look into checking that out if you are looking for a good plug into a lot of different technologies. So it was good to hear Tom get on there and talk about that this week. And thanks for cluing me in about that, Mr. Steve Butterworth. I appreciate it. That was it was good to find out about that. And what else? Okay, so Skype for Business user groups are kind of in full swing right now. We had groups last week, maybe even before that. I was at the Nashville group last week. Very good time. And there was groups this last week. This week was the week that Kevin Keeler and Dino Caputo, another Office Servers and Services MVP, they launched the new West Toronto chapter of the Skype for Business user group, and so they got that kicked off. Congratulations on that, guys. Look forward to many more successful ones for you. And then there are more groups coming up next week and the week after that. I believe the week after that is when the Charlotte one is going to be. I will be there. Looking forward to seeing whoever is there. That'll be a good time. And I'm going to try my luck at the raffle at the end as well. I've only been to 2 user groups. I've won something in the raffle twice. Very excited about that. I've been accused of rigging the process somehow. Not quite sure how I would have done that, but it's a fair assessment. It's a fair accusation. We'll let it sit for now, and we'll see what happens the third time. All right. So, regardless of that, Anthony Carrigal, another Office Servers and Services MVP, has informed me on Twitter that the Polycom Trio, which is the grand prize at the end of this round of user groups, is his. He has laid claim to that prize. He's going to win that, not I. So he's put that out there. Everyone note, that was his claim. And if you'd like to prove both of us wrong and get it yourself, please show up at your local user group. Take part in the community. It's a great place to network, a great place to learn something new. The vendor at most of them has been Polycom this time around, and talking about all the great devices that have just hit the market in the recent months and really digging into that, recent updates. And then Cloud PBX has been the other topic, which is a very good conversation to have in the room. So go to one, enjoy. They're a good time. But that's all I've got for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient as I get through all this. I hope you've had a laugh or two, and I really hope I'll see you here next week. If you like what you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, man, I would appreciate that. I'm about halfway to being able to have my own custom YouTube channel URL, so one of these days I'll get there and have something worth sharing in that regard. But yeah, subscribe if you haven't, and if you like the episode, found anything interesting and useful, please retweet or share on LinkedIn. So thank you all. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Get lots of rest and play hard. So until next Friday, adios.